Good morning, and it is a happy, and a blessed Wednesday morning, and you are riding out with Jay Blessed to get to work this morning. I have to definitely chop it up with you guys while I am riding to work, or driving to work, I should say, because I ain't the one riding, I gotta be the one driving. I'm gonna tell y'all something, I'm gonna put it out in the atmosphere sooner than later. I am going to have me a husband that will be my chauffeur to get me to and from work where I don't have to drive, because I'm telling you, sometimes this driving stuff gets on my nerves. But nevertheless, I gotta get out and about and make my money and get to my destination. So who else but me can do that, right? Bring myself to and from my destinations safely. This morning, I wanted to touch base with you all on a topic of, how different people in different cultures raise their children. And it was this one particular situation that happened, or instinct that happened, and I just so happened to be there when, someone that I know took a phone call from their child. And the phone call was a basic phone call. It didn't warrant for the child's response. But, it was a conversation of, oh, I'm so happy that, you took the initiative to do this, to do something, or to put away the stuff that we did yesterday from the barbecue or from the cookout. And thank you so much. Mommy loves you and appreciate you so much. And the child's response, who is a teenager, was, bitch, shut up, bitch. And to me, the person knew that it was wrong, but made it quickly mustered up an excuse to say, oh, that's how we joke and we play with each other sometimes. And I'm just looking at them like, that's not normal play between a child, a mother, and a child. How is that how y'all play? It's not cool to allow your child to call you out your name. I remember when my son was much younger, in elementary school, and I was taking him to school, him and his sister to school, and he would just throw these damn temper tantrums that would get on my nerves. You'll say something to him in the house, or maybe he wanted to bring a particular toy out the house, and it was a firm no, you can't do that. And he would get out in the street and refuse to walk, just fold his arms and would sit up against the gate and refuse to walk. And to me, in my head, it's is this kid really challenging me? I will knock the hell out of you when you do these things, and especially in public. You don't get away with it in the house, but why should I allow you to definitely get away with it while in public? Some people might say, oh my God, it's abuse. You speak to the child this way, you hit the child. But it's disciplining your kid, because guess what? If I don't discipline my son, who's going to grow up to be a part of this world, a young male black child at that, who's going to grow up to be a man someday, and then when he's unruly, committing crimes and talking to police officers this way, guess who's going to discipline him? Them, the police. And we all see the outcome of the discipline that happens with most of the male blacks today, right? And females, we're not discriminated either. They'll slam us to the ground and pin our arms behind our head and choke us out and carry on as well. So with that being said, if I am not allowed to discipline my child, and then you let him fall to the wayside, it's always the mother's fault. Oh, this is probably how he was parent, and this is what they let him get away with, and this is why he turned out to be the way that he or she is. They blame everything on the parent, but yet we can't parent our kids. So rewinding back to how her son spoke to her, it just was troubling to me that you think that that's normal. That's not normal. It's absolutely positively not normal for your child to call you that. Imagine me having a conversations, even with my friends I see on social media with these celebrities, that they refer to each other like that. You know, the guys, oh, that's my nigga. And then the girls is calling each other, oh, you my bitch. Like, that's unacceptable conversation for me. Like, none of my girlfriends could dare call me a bitch. Like, the definition of a bitch is a female dog with 4 legs. I am fit the criteria of being a female, but I damn sure am not nobody's dog. And so it's just unacceptable. Some conversations shouldn't be had. So imagine someone that is not your own kid or your family member calling you out your name, is how we call it. This is how we speak. You're calling me out my name. That's rude. Imagine a man is saying to you, oh, you bitch. You're such a bitch. Like, that's not cool. It's not cute. Ain't nothing cute about that. And so we did have a conversation about that. I had to tell her, why do you feel that that is acceptable? So she comes in her defense and says, well, the father always curses. He curses a lot. That's the father. And I get it. Maybe he should have watched his words. But the child is 14. And if you're allowing him at 14 to speak this way to you, what you think is going to happen when he turns 18, 16? Let's go for 16 and 18. Like, it just doesn't stop. It only gets worse. And we can't allow children to speak to us any kind of way. Like, there's nobody in my circle that I knowingly know and their kid is we're out in public with our children or our young adults, and the kids speak to you that kind of way. Oh no. Even till this day that my kids are young adults, they can't talk to me how they feel because they're 18 or older. Oh hell no. You're still going to have that respect because I've raised you that way to know how to speak to me and how to relate to me. I raised you with knowing how to relate to people, how to speak appropriately. We are not going to do this using profanity and cursing and carrying on in my house. We're just not going to do it. And so when you set boundaries with your kids and you put your foot down, trust and believe that those kids will grow up knowing that this is how I should be. This is how I should relate to people. This is how I should speak. It is unacceptable. And see, society frightens you and tell you what you can and cannot do when it comes to your kid. I'm not saying beat the child down to a pulp, but when it comes to disciplining your kid, you should be able to put hands on them kids and tell them kids to cut it out. When you want to do the timeout, sometimes timeout don't work for some children because their temper is out of control. There's no timing out for little Johnny and Susie. We're not doing that. So at the end of the day, you got to snatch that behind up and let them know, or hold that arm, or give them a nice little pinch and let they behind know, sit down and cut it out. Like, when I can give looks to my kids and they know, don't go there. Like, pump your brakes all the way because you don't want to challenge me. So I suggest you tone it down now. Like, you have to be firm with children. You cannot allow them to just say what they want to say, run amok, and run circles around you, and to dictate to you who is the parent. I always tell my kids, listen here, the older you get is the older that I get. And you are not allowed to speak to me any kind of way or treat me any kind of way. Point blank, period. I'm not having it. We're not doing that. Even with their father not being raised in him not being in the household, and I'm being the parent that raised them. I raised them to respect their father. You cannot have kids being rude and disrespectful just because. Or you cannot make them feel that, oh, they can be this way with you, but then be another way with the other person. Absolutely not. Respect is definitely demanded in my household. And so I just had to touch base with you. Like, where are you guys at with rearing up and raising your kids? What are you allowing them to do? Because when you allow children to speak to you any kind of way when they're adolescents, before they even get teenagers, you have a problem on your hand. Like, there's no respect level. You have to draw the line. I don't care if the father or the mother cusses like a sailor. That's not for the kid to pick up. Yes, things are learned behavior. So yes, you can have that discussion with your significant other and ask them, listen, we trying to raise our son or our daughter a certain kind of way, and with you always cursing, that's not cool. It's just not cool. Like, that's no excuse, though, for you not to tell your son or your daughter that that's wrong, what daddy is doing and what daddy is saying. So do not do it. Kids only learn from us. They learn what they see and what they hear. They're like a sponge. They absorb every single thing that they hear around them as they're growing up and as they're young. But all the things that's negative and that's not right, or that they may see, you can easily redirect them. You can guide them into the right and proper direction. It's an absolute no-no to allow your kid to be sitting there talking crazy to you, or talking crazy for that matter to anybody. It's just not cool with children cussing and it's coming out their mouth. And it may sound cool to them that they're throwing F-bombs and B-bombs and all of that, but it's not cute. It's not cute, because if you don't correct it now and them kids get older and they continue to use that language, then guess what? It's going to always be our fault as the parent. Yep, it's almost always our fault. So we just cannot allow our children to be willy-nilly with their words and their actions. I have been in clothing stores shopping, in malls shopping, and have seen little children, damn near toddler, hitting their parents. Like, where we doing that at? Because they can't get their way, they're hitting and yelling at their mother or father. And it's in particular, these kids do it to the mom. Like, it's not cool. And a lot of times it could be abuse, signs that abuse, that could be a sign that that's the behavior that the son or the little child have seen take place in the house. They are seeing this happen between the mother and the father, because it's always kicking and slapping the mother out in public, where they're turning beet red because they're embarrassed. And it's hurtful when you have a child and your children is speaking to you like they're crazy and treating you wrong. It's not cool. So I just wanted to put this video out there for those of you that allow your kids to speak to you any kind of way. It's not cool. You have to redirect it. I don't care even if that child is older now. You still have time to tell that child, you will not speak to me any kind of way. It's not cool. Okay? And with everything being said, I'm always prayerful. I'm always praying on things, because that prayer is the way to fix things. God created these children and entrusted us to raise them up. And it is your job to correct that child when that child is out of control. So I'm telling you right now, don't allow your kids to speak to you any kind of way. Don't allow the world to tell you that you cannot discipline your child. You're not abusing and you're not beating the child, but you cannot allow them to be rude and disrespectful. Because trust and believe, there's going to be somebody in society that's going to do what you should have done initially. And that's teach your child a lesson on how to behave, how to speak, how to act, period. So with that being said, I leave this video with you to think on and ponder on, and wish you to have a blessed Wednesday.